Hi, today I'm going to make a, don't beat me up for this too much, I think it's called a kendama. It's Kendama. So however you pronounce it, I'm going to try and make one. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so I looked online and basically it's just videos of people playing the game. I couldn't find one with any measurements or anything on it. So I'm just kind of going off of what I saw on the videos. And I think it's about 2 1/4. So what you want to do is find center of that, which would be 1 1/8. And we'll turn our ball this way from that. All right, so I already had this trued up, so I'm going to turn the speed all the way up to 1800, and I'm going to use a bull gouge. And just go from center. And we need to find our other end. Now that I look at it, okay, once I got it round, 2 1/4 was too big, so I went down to 1 3/4, and so you can see I just kind of moved my calipers around it to make sure it was fairly round. I'm not complaining. For freehand, I'll take that. And there's a little void right there, but it's okay because you need to come in from the end. You need to remount it and then come in from the end and make a pretty good size hole that's tapered down in it, it looks like, so for the pin to pop through. And then this side there'll be a little hole in it anyway for the string to go through. So I'm happy. Let's move on. I'm going to go ahead and part it off, and then we'll remount it and get it trued up a little better. Okay, I went ahead and drilled a small hole down through the center, came out through the end here. I'm going to put it back on and true it up so that center hole is true with the ball. See, it's just a little bit off, so I'm going to fix that. And then I'll sand it. Plus, I think it needs to come down a little bit more anyway. Somebody has one out there that can give everybody the exact measurements. I think it's probably closer to 2 1/2 inches. Okay, I just went ahead and just kind of reamed it out with the drill bit, make a little cone shape there. I'll clean it up by hand, but I made it big enough to slide right over the spur center, so that it has something to bite to, and I can center it back up and sand it up. I will do that, and then we'll move on to the next part, because this is a long project. Okay, there we go. And it's just, I just hand sanded this. It tapers in and then goes down straight where the peg will stick in it. Then the knot will come up, or the string will come up and tie right through there. I still think it's a little big, but it's almost perfect, and I don't want to mess with it. I've never gotten one that close freehand before. So let's go ahead and turn the spike now that comes through the middle of the toy, and we'll use this to make the cup so it fits that perfectly. Let's go ahead and do that. Okay, now I'm just going to cup it out until the ball fits in it. This was out of maple. This is out of myrtle wood, and then I'm going to try and find another piece of myrtle wood to make the other part. And have the lathe speed back up at 1800. And I'm just going to take little light cuts because it's way out here away from the headstock. Go on a little bit more. All right, there we go. So, and then I'll trim down the outside just a little bit. You can kind of see where I'm at. You can kind of see right there, so it fits from this point in. Okay, now this is going to be the long part that runs through the center. It'll have a cup on this end, and then it'll come to a point. So basically, from the ones I saw people playing with, you can kind of do just about anything you want here, but then it needs to come down to, you know, about the size of a finger, or if you're making one, whatever size hole that is, it just needs to be just a little bit smaller than that at the point down here. I'm going to use the roughing gouge and bring it down. Get a little bead in there, I guess. Pretty much do whatever you want with it. Here, I don't think it's critical, I guess. before I get down too much further, that's the drill bit I use. So I have the size there, lock that down, and I'll bring it down actually quite a ways because this has to go through another piece. So it probably needs to stick out about that far. So we need to bring it down back in here too, all the way across there. So I'm going to do that. Oops. And I'll just use that same size drill bit to drill the hole through the other piece. That way I don't have to guess on that. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and sand it up and then we'll part it off. I'll pull the tailstock back, sand up the center of that too. All right, there we go. I went ahead and just rounded that over. Fits inside there. Just a little bit of play so that it will pop right on and fits right in the cup. So, go from the side. So it fits right in there and it's smooth all the way around. So let's make the top of it. And what's going to happen is it's going to be a cup on each side like that, and then taper down the center, and then this thing will slide through so that you can still fit this on the other side. Okay, I found another piece of myrtle wood. And what I did is I just put it in between the centers, trued up the end so it's nice and flat. I'm going to put it in the chuck here. Bring up the tailstock, lock that down, and then I'm going to tighten up the chuck here. And what I'm going to do is cup this end out, make sure it fits good with the ball, and then I'm going to flip it around and cup out the other side so that those are set, and then put it back in between the two spur centers to finish the inside. I don't know, this is my first one, so there might be a better way to do that. But I'm going to do it this way. So if you think of a better way, please let me know. So let's go ahead and cup out this end here. Make sure it runs true. I'm going to back that away. It's just barely off, but that's all right. And when I'm done cupping it out, I'm going to bring the tailstock back up and put it in there so it centers itself again, so when I spin it back around a couple of times, there's still holes in the end of it to center itself right back up. That's probably close. Lock it down, turn the lathe on, bring it right in. There we go, and you can see it's just barely off, just enough to get it in there. Then we'll spin it around and do the other side. I'm just going to come in 1 inch on each side. Because I need enough room for the spike to come up through the center. So with tapering that. Can't fix it now. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and sand it up and then fine center again on this and then drill my hole down through it. And George sent me a wire, so I'm going to do a little bit of that, burn some lines in it to give it a little bit of detail. Thank you, George. Okay, I'm going to fine center again and drill my hole down through it. I think I'm going to put it right where that grain pattern lines up. All right, just finishing up with 600. There we go. All right. Okay, and this slides in there like that. This is, I made this too big, but I didn't have measurements or anything. I was just watching people play with them to try and figure it out. So don't beat me up too much. Yeah, I think it probably should have been, I don't know, about right there. If anybody out there has one and you take some measurements on it, and I can make another one. But the ball sits on there like that. And this is maple, and the rest of it's made out of myrtle wood. I'll find a string for it. And then you flip it around, all these pockets, and then you flip it around and it sits back on the little spindle there. Okay, yeah, if anybody out there has measurements, I can adjust that or whatever. I would try it out, but who wants to see a 45-year-old man make a fool of himself? Just kidding. Who doesn't? All right, I can get it. I mean, eventually, right? There we go. I gotta get one more, right? There we go. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.